Hello, welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Shaka Hislop, Ali Moreno and Stevie Nicol. Look who else is here. Former Premier League referee Peter Walton joins us. We know what that means. A lot of talk about some of those controversial decisions that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. We'll start in the FA Cup. Manchester City against Swansea. Swansea, of course, 2-1 up at the time that Raheem Sterling was brought down and a penalty was awarded to City. Was this the right decision, Peter?
Well, you can see from the pictures there that the Swansea fullback has just nicked the ball away from Sterling, and Sterling, in fairness, is even not looking for a penalty kick. He's more content with a corner kick there. And Andre Marino, the referee, I think, who's in a great position, by the way, was a bit too quick on the trigger and gave a penalty kick. And as you said, if VAR was available at Swansea, I think that would have been brought to the attention of Andre Marino, and I think we'd had that decision overturned.
Should it have been a penalty, Stevie?
When I saw it, I thought it was a penalty. I thought Mariner, under the circumstances, I thought it was a good call. But then we see the replay, and you clearly see the touch. But without the replay, there's no way. And the linesman hasn't helped him. You know, he's got the better view. So I can understand why Mariner gave the penalty. Absolutely.
Of course, no VAR for that call. No VAR available also for Manchester City's winner, Kun Aguero, offside, clearly. It's not really a discussion. What is a discussion, Peter, is that, of course, the FA introduced VAR just for the Premier League stadiums for the FA Cup, not, though, for the lower league sides. This seems strange for certainly a tie like Swansea, for example, where you've got Liberty Stadium, brand new stadium, where surely that could accommodate VAR quite happily.
Well, look, I think in hindsight, the FA really should have had a rule in there that at the quarter-final stage, perhaps every ground is equipped with VAR, but they didn't. And let's not forget that this is still in its experimental stage in England. The Premier League are due to bring it in for next season. So at the moment, they are still in an experimental phase. So what the FA said was, well, the Premiership teams have the logistics and have the infrastructure there already. So that's where VAR will be tried and tested. And we won't have it in the Football League grounds. And, of course, Swansea are now in the Football League. So they knew that at the start.
Isn't that ridiculous, though? We're at the experimental stage. All you needed there was just a replay, and clearly Aguero was offside.
Oh, look, Dan, it's a great argument. That argument is being used at this very moment. So again, that's in hindsight. But again, the FA took that decision early in the competition. The clubs, by the way, were announced, and they said, yep, we understand that and we'll accept that. So, you know, Swansea knew the consequences of not having VAR. But again, in hindsight, probably the wrong decision.
A lot of talk in the UK, guys, about the fact that VAR's only used for some matches and not others. Some are saying, look, it should be VAR for everyone or not at all. Where do you stand on this?
If you can use VAR, use it. If the club has the infrastructure, if you're able to get whatever you need in and out in a timely fashion, whatever it is you need, and VAR can be used for that game, use it. I don't really understand the counter-argument as to it not being utilised.
Some are saying it's unfair.
Unfair to who, is the question?
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people. I don't know. I'm just saying some people are saying it's unfair.
I'm shooting the messenger here.
If you're going to roll it out, you should roll it out completely or not at all.
Yes, and that point is fair enough. But all I'm saying is when you look at the situation across the board, you want to get calls right. So if there's a system that allows you to do that and it's in place and you can utilize it in 8 out of 10 stadiums, in 5 out of 7 stadiums, you're going to get more calls right in those 5 stadiums. Let's not focus on the ones that we didn't get right. Let's focus on the ones that we avoided, that we actually got right. That's a step forward. I think that's evolution. However, you can also make the argument that not having VAR at the Liberty Stadium deprived us of the magic of the FA Cup. So those that want to make that argument, go ahead, good luck.
You love the magic of the FA Cup.
Yeah, Dan, I think perversely that the mistakes, the errors shown at the Swansea game will actually increase the ambition of people to get VAR in and VAR in quickly, because you can clearly see that, you know, with a slight amount of technology, you can get big decisions correct.
Now, there was VAR, of course, for United against Wolves. Wolves winning that game. But at 0-0, should United have had a penalty, this is the start of the second half. Rashford with the run through, gets the shot off, but is then clearly brought down, Peter. Should this have been a spot kick?
I don't think it should have been a spot kick. No, I think Rashford has got his shot away. The defender hasn't influenced or impeded him in his attempt to get that shot away. And the consequences of a challenge means there's a physical contact. So for me, I don't think that's a foul, and I don't think any referees would have given that as a foul.
What about our panel?
So, Pete, let me ask you. So, is this not a reckless challenge? I mean, there's no question. This challenge is endangering Rashford. Even though he's got his shot off, he's endangering his opponent. So, would that not be... Would you not go for that? Why wouldn't you do that? That's exactly what they keep throwing at us. It doesn't matter what happens. You know, if you don't even get in touch with your opponent and it's a dangerous challenge and you're endangering him, then you can still get a card. So, if he gets his shot off and then he gets rattled round the back of his Achilles, surely that's endangering the opponent.
Well, you could actually, make an argument for a foul there, but I think that, in the game itself, played at real speed, at full speed, for me, that's part of the challenging aspect and part of the physical contact of the game. And players and spectators and referees accept that. So in slow motion, Steve, you can make that look a foul all day long. But I think in real time, it's not accepted and people don't give fouls to that sort of thing.
Here's what happens. If that had been in the middle of midfield, where somebody just passes the ball off and there's a fraction of a second that goes by and then he gets in and clipped from behind, we call a foul. And we will bring the play back. We don't say there's an advantage. We bring it back, yellow card, here you go. How is that different inside the 18-yard box?
This is a replay that replay there, it seems to me that Rashford actually comes down on the defender. And if that is the case, if Rashford gets his shot off, and then in his follow-through and then coming down, he then lands on the defender who committed to the challenge, then I'm with Peter here, no penalty. If we have a better look at it and the defender does take Rashford out, then yes, something should have been
Well, he comes down on the defender because the defender has gone across his path.
Yeah, but he gets his shot off and then goes airborne and getting his shot off.
How is that
and
different?
Then comes down the defender.
How is that different from a late foul in the middle of midfield?
Do you know what we can't argue with? Watching this game and what Peter just said about we all accept that that's not going to be given.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that we can agree on, because it's never given. Never has been.
Peter Walton is going to stay with us for extra time, by the way.
Fantastic.
It's later in the show as well. Be sure to join us there. You can check out all our episodes over on the website. International break this week. Of course, Liverpool go into the break at the top of the Premier League, 2 points clear of Manchester City. City, though, with a game in hand. City, of course, chasing this unprecedented quadruple. To do so, though, they have to play a lot of matches. In fact, if they make it into the Champions League semi-finals, it'll be 13 games in 44 days. Stevie, how much of a problem, how decisive could this become when talking about the title race?
Absolutely. Listen, in 1989, when we lost the title on the last day of the season, it was our 8th game in 24 days. And I can assure you, not just myself, but everybody else, we couldn't feel our legs. We were just spent playing every 3 days, including three games in 6 days at the end. We had nothing left. So 100%, if they go all the way through the season, get to Champions League final, obviously FA Cup final as well, they will be shattered by the end.
To that point, 89 obviously didn't have the same sort of squad that City have got now. That will surely come into play.
It'll help, but basically, in order for them to win their matches, they're going to have to play their main players the majority of the time. And it catches up on you, and it takes its toll. And let's be honest, in order to win the Champions League, to win an FA Cup final, and to go through the rest of the season undefeated in the Premier League, they're going to have to be at the sharpest, because everybody is after them, regardless of the name on the jersey who's opposing them. Every single team is going to get after them. Yeah,
I think it's fair to say that everyone still thinks City's going to win the title.
Yeah. I mean, are we assuming that Liverpool is going to get eliminated from Champions League? Because they could, too, have a bunch of games as well. So the only difference between the two would be the FA Cup matches. And so if that's the case, then if Liverpool makes a run also in Champions League, then we can also make the argument that this is a team that is not as deep as Manchester City. And so, therefore, they, too, would be spent. I think that Manchester City has more wiggle room when it comes to rotating players than Liverpool does. It still gives me the idea that Manchester City, if everything else is equal, Manchester City would end up winning the title.
I think the title is still City's to lose, but that spell where they go Spurs, Palace, Spurs, Manchester United, I think defines their season. Because, of course, if they get through the Champions League, I think they've got Burnley and then Juventus. That squad will be tested. As big a squad as it is, during that spell, I don't expect Pep Guardiola to rotate that much. That would be defining.
Great for the neutrals, though, compared to last season. Just a reminder how the title odds stand. Champions League, their favourites. Premier League, their big favourites. Even bigger for the FA Cup. Just 7-2 to win those 3 titles.
There's a steely look in Messi's eyes.
El terror. Tira Leo Messi. Madre mía de mi vida. Gol, 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 gol.
Tries the back heelers at Messi!
Golazo, 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 golazo.
Rakitic. Messi. Oh my goodness me! You thought you'd seen it all!
Madre mía. Qué golazo de Leo Messi.
And the Betis fans on their feet, the whole of the Benito Villamarín applauding this man.
Messi, of course, grabbed all the headlines after that sensational performance against Real Betis. However, the grand scale of things, it put Barca one step closer to winning La Liga. Atletico Madrid obviously dropping points against Athletic Bilbao. But I want to welcome Peter Walden back to the show because in that game between Atleti and Athletic, Pete, there was a big call for a penalty. Remember, they do have VAR in Spain. A challenge on Griezmann in the penalty area. Spot kick not awarded. Was this the right decision?
Well, as you can see, the first challenge there looks as if he's getting the ball, but it's the follow-through. It's the second challenge on that brings Griezmann down. And for me, that was a missed opportunity from the referee to give a penalty kick. They do have VAR there, and clearly the VAR man, the operator, would have looked at it. He would have gone through the process, and it didn't reach the clear and obvious level for him. But if you ask me on a personal basis, I would have liked VARs to bring that to the attention of the referee. I think that's a penalty kick.
What if I was to ask you on a personal process about it, Ali?
Personal or non-personal, it's a penalty kick, 100%.
Yeah.
And what is the threshold of clear and obvious here? He kicks him from the ground. He takes him down. It's a penalty.
Everyone agree? Penalty?
Yeah.
You okay, Steve?
Well, because the first time I saw it, a couple of days ago, I said no. But I've changed my mind.
Oh.
Right. What made you change your mind? The fact that he kicked him?
Yeah, the follow-through, yeah.
Meanwhile, staying in La Liga, Real Madrid, of course, back to winning ways under Zinedine Zidane. However, could Gareth Bale have been sent off for throwing an elbow late on in the first half? He got a yellow card for this. Should it have been red, Peter?
Well, again, I actually saw this game live at the weekend, and the moment that happened, I turned to a colleague of mine and said, he's off. And when he wasn't, I was most surprised. You see him there, he's moving away from the defender, I understand that. But in order to sort of gain some momentum and gain some space, he's lifted his elbow up and thrown it back in such a forceful manner there that surely stands the risk. And again, if I was the VAR operator, I think I'd have drawn that to the attention of the referee. And again, I think Mr. Bale was quite lucky there to stay on the field.
Was he lucky, Shaq?
Yeah, he was. Without question. Listen, you understand Gareth Bale is trying to suggest that in the act of running, he's just trying to hold the defender off. But you don't lead with your elbow like that. And in that kind of position, you lead with your elbow, you make contact with your face. I don't think the referee has any decision but to send him off, or so you'd think.
I'm no speed demon, by the way. I was not. In fact, I was on the slow side. So I'm not going to tell Gareth Bale how to run. But when he's giving me one of these things, and then chicken wings it, that's clearly a red card.
VAR's had some issues in Spain, hasn't it?
Well,
the operator of VAR has.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I'm sorry, Shaq. Yes, the
It is.
operator of VAR. Stephen?
No, it's a red card.
Right.
You know, I understand the motion of trying to run, but when you lift your elbow, as soon as you lift your elbow up, you're done.
That's it. Meanwhile, in Italy, Juve, of course, suffered their first domestic defeat of the campaign. However, should they have had a penalty earlier on in the second half for this push on Mandzukic? By the way, watching this game, they didn't even show a replay during the coverage of it. Peter, what do you make of it?
Well, I've looked at this a number of times, actually, and I can understand why the VAR didn't bring it to the attention of the referee. Is it clear and obvious? Are the two players tussling for the same position or the same ball? And you only see the guy go over theatrically. So there must be other angles that the VAR operator has seen on this and judged that it's not clear and obvious. And for me, I'd go with that as well.
So he didn't throw his two hands out. Right at the end, when Mandzukic goes down, the defender's two arms extend out in the motion that he's pushing. Your arms just don't naturally go straight out like that together. It's impossible unless you're pushing somebody. So I don't get that, Pete.
Well,
no, I mean, simple question: did he shove him? Yes or no?
It looks from the angles that we've seen, yes,
Right.
he did shove it.
So if he shoves him, it's a penalty kick.
Well, not necessarily, because you don't know what's gone on just before that, Steve. There could have been... You've played, enough games to realise that the players tussle for the ball, and there is physical contact.
Well, you use your
the
body,
two players
Pete.
there coming together.
What you do is you use your body, you use your shoulders, you lean into somebody. You don't physically throw your arms out, because as soon as you do that, you're asking for trouble. No. And I thought it was pretty obvious that he shoved his arms out.
Yeah, I think the evidence is there, is clear to you. But again, let's just go back to the guy who's got probably 8 different angles to look at. And he's looked at that and thought, no, there's two players coming together there. I won't bring it to the attention of the referee. Don't forget, the VAR is not there to re-referee the game. He's there to bring clear and obvious errors to the referee's attention. Maybe that didn't reach his threshold.
Whose side are you taking here, Shane?
I'm with Steve. I think this is a penalty. The more I see it, the more it looks a penalty, in my opinion. Initially, I thought the only question was whether Mandzukic was going to get on the end of that ball. From the replays, it looks more likely that he is and not. I think it's a penalty.
100% a penalty. Come on now.
Let's set the clock back, shall we, to Napoli against Juventus. Of course, this game defined early on, just 25 minutes in, with the red card that was awarded after the challenge on Cristiano Ronaldo here. Juve, of course, going on to win this game. Interesting stuff from Carlo Ancelotti after the match regarding that decision. This is what the Napoli coach had to say about the sending off. You have to take into account where the ball was going. Where Alan was, it was not a very clear red, as Cristiano might not have been able to get onto that ball anyway. It was going towards the corner flag. Does Ancelotti have a point there, Peter?
Well, the more I look at it, the more the point he's making actually rings true. Yes, it's clearly a foul. We're not debating that. And in Dogso comes into it. But in terms of Dogso, the direction of the ball should also be coming into it. And if you look at the ball was pushed away at speed by Cristiano Ronaldo there. Whether or not Ronaldo, who's moving at speed also, would have gained momentum to get that ball before Alan, the fullback, got in there, is a question to be asked. And for me, I think Ancelotti's got a good point there.
Just remind us what Dogso is, Peter.
Dogso, OK, you have to make sure that it's an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, and taking into consideration the direction of play, the distance to goal, the defenders who are around. And when you take those factors into consideration, and the referee says, they tick all the boxes, it's a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. That one there, if you freeze frame it and you see where the ball's going, I think there's a point there to say that it was a foul and probably a yellow card for a reckless challenge rather than red card for denial of a goal-scoring opportunity.
The game's not refereed that way anymore, Pete. Listen, in my era, the referee 100% would have taken into account that ball's going away from goal. That's just the way it was refereed then. It's not refereed that way anymore. And that's one of those kind of anomalies about football, where there are certain... It's like players' code of conduct. There's certain things you do and don't do that are not in a rule book. And the game's refereed differently today. Right. You only have to look at the foul situation. Fouls in my day are challenges in my day that were never fouls. Yeah. Today, I mean, you're looking at sitting on the bench.
So, Steve,
that's a little anomaly, that one. That is,
Steve, you're making
work today.
Yeah, you make a good point there, and you're quite right. You know, the game has evolved, and so has refereeing, and the style of refereeing has evolved. And when we come to look at denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, you know, that's something quite new, really, in terms of the history of the game. And referees are given a prescription almost to look to for denial. And people's expectations nowadays that if the ball's past the goalkeeper and the goalkeeper brings him down, he's going to be sent off. And sometimes they forget the actual description of DOGSO, denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, which includes the direction the ball's travelling in.
Yellow or red, Jack?
Red for me.
Red? What about DOGSO?
Well, I mean, listen,
That's a denial of a goal-scoring
at this
opportunity.
level, regardless of, well, not regardless, but given where the ball was going, 99 times out of 100, a striker at this level scores. From there,
Alan's covering as well?
99 times out of 100, if the attacker is allowed to stay on his feet, he scores. That's denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. That's clear and obvious, in my opinion.
It is clear and obvious, and it is DOGSO and everything else that you want to call it. Here's the thing. The goalkeeper is the one that takes down Cristiano Ronaldo. That leaves the goal wide open. Nobody to cover the goal. He gets to that ball. It is a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. 100%.
It's Ronaldo. What's he ever done?
Well, that's all right.
Just a reminder, you can download our daily podcasts over on the website if you ever miss a show. It is one of the tightest title races in Europe. Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund currently level on points at the top of the Bundesliga. But Peter with us as we'll discuss some of the big calls in that Hertha Berlin-Borussia Dortmund game. Let's start off, shall we, with that penalty that was awarded for handball. Remember, there is VAR in Germany. A penalty was given, Peter. Should it have been?
Well, the referee gave it, and the VAR has obviously looked at it and decided that it didn't rise to a clear and obvious error from the referee. I don't think it was a penalty kick. I think the defender has jumped there. His arm is in parallel with his body, so he's making himself not bigger at all. And the aspects in terms of law at the moment under handballs is whether or not it's a deliberate act, you know, whether or not the arm has moved towards the hand and the distance the ball's travelled. It's very, very subjective, of course. And that's why IFAB at their meeting only a few weeks ago have said that they'll go away and before the 1st of June will issue a new, precise and more definitive guidelines to handball, because at the moment, you know, lots of people don't know what handball is and what handball isn't.
We understand, don't we, that the word silhouette is going to be introduced to these laws, Peter. If indeed that is a silhouette, the penalty will be given because that's not natural down by the arms?
Well, no. When you talk about that, that word natural silhouette will be used from the 1st of June. And basically what it means is if your arms are by your side in a natural silhouette and the ball strikes your arm or hand, that's not handball. And again, if we go back to that action just there in the Bundesliga, I think the player's arms are by his side or are, you know, in his body line. So again, under the new laws, as in coming on from the 1st of June, that wouldn't be handball.
I thought you said you were going to make it clear. They're going to take the handball rule and make it clear. For me, it's not.
No.
The guy's arms come up to protect his face as much as anything. His hand is across his body. I agree with that, with what Pete says. So if it doesn't hit his arm, it's going to hit him in the body straight on. So I don't see how
That's a wrong-looking body silhouette if he's going like that.
Well, if somebody throws something at you,
it's not a handball, but
I mean, if it doesn't hit him in the arm, Ali, it's hitting him straight in the throat or the chest.
I agree with you that it's not a handball. It's just this whole body silhouette thing is going to throw it for a spin. It's not going to make it any clearer.
Handball or no?
No, for me, it's not. I think bringing your arm across the body actually makes your silhouette smaller, if that makes sense.
Meanwhile, Hertha Berlin surely feel aggrieved that they didn't get a penalty. This was just about on the hour mark. Peter, how did they not get this?
Wow.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if we look back only a few weeks in the English Premier League when Arsenal played Spurs, there's a very similar one there given to the Arsenal player. And at the time I said it doesn't need a great deal of force to push a player over who's moving at speed and loses his balance. And then that's a classic example there where the defender has got nowhere near the ball and made contact with the back of the forward. So for me, that was a clear and obvious error and probably should have been raised by the VAR to the referee.
I'm guessing, gentlemen, this isn't one that we particularly need to dwell on.
I don't know.
Given that you all think it's a penalty. Yeah, let's go back, shall we, to the United game, because Lindelof, of course, has given a straight red late on in this one. It was changed to a yellow. A couple of things I thought was interesting here, Peter, was the fact that the referee didn't go and look at a screen. He was kind of overruled, and he gave a yellow.
Yeah, no, he wasn't overruled. That's one thing. And again, in that experiment being used in England, the authorities have said there's no need for the referee to go over to look at a monitor. He can take the word from the guy in the booth because.
So the guy has overruled him.
Well, the guy's given a different opinion and said to Martin Atkinson on the day that he got it wrong.
He's overruled them.
Okay, he's overruled them.
He's caved. Win. He's caved.
Okay, 1-0 to you. But again, I think he's overruled him wrongly. I can see the elements there of serious foul play when you look at it. That's a poor challenge, and I think Martin Atkinson was in his quite rights to send the player off for the serious consequences of his actions there and under serious foul play. So, yeah, I think the VAR came in too much there for me.
Red or yellow?
Absolutely, that's a red. Lindelof comes straight through the opponent. Ooh. That could have done all kinds of damage. I'm not sure why the referee or whoever's in the VAR booth saw that otherwise.
Now, if the guy in the VAR, okay, if he overrules the referee, couldn't the referee overrule the guy in the VAR and say, I saw what I saw? And I saw clearly this was a red. So I either see it myself or I don't trust what you're saying. I'm just saying.
This is insight to Ali's family life.
I know, exactly. Welcome to tonight's dinner at my house.
There's nothing good about having VAR overrule the referee in this manner. Nothing good about it.
Why is there no screen?
I have absolutely no idea. Other than from a time-saving element, but to have somebody in the VAR booth have final say on any incident that happens on the pitch, I don't like at all. Makes absolutely no sense. England have got that part totally wrong.
Red or yellow?
Yeah, Dan,
Red. Yeah, go on, Peter.
Dan, I just want to come back in there because under the VAR protocol, of course, it's the referee who makes the final decision, not the VAR. The VAR is only there to give the referee some assistance in making that decision or coming to that decision, that correct decision. So in England, they're not going to the screens because what they're saying is the referee can have a communication with the VAR without seeing it. I think, in terms of the perception that who makes that decision, it's really important for the referee to go over to the sidelines and say, yep, I'm making this decision. So, again, we'll wait to see where they go with that in the Premier League next year if it's introduced.
But yeah, they've got to have screens, surely.
Madness.
Yeah.
How does that take time to figure out? Surely that's just the referee's the guy in charge of the game.
Yeah.
VAR is there to help, by the way, I believe.
Yeah.
So why is VAR making the final decision and not the guy on the field? It makes absolutely no sense. And the fact that, again, they come out with this nonsense, well, we're going to do it this way and then we'll see how it goes. You know how it's going to go before we start. It's already happened.
This would be unique, wouldn't it? Every other country has got a monitor by the side, Peter. Surely England are going to follow that.
It is unique, and again, this is part of their experiment. And I think that when they look at it and they decide on what the protocol or process is for next year, we'll see those on-field pitch-side monitors. Because again, the crowd, the players even want to make sure it's the match referee who's making that final decision, and that's where it should be.
Let's go back a couple of weeks to end this segment. I think Lee Mason's a good friend of yours, isn't he, Peter? Don't you go golfing together?
Hey! Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Let's take you back then to Newcastle, Everton. He awards the penalty, but doesn't even book Jordan Pickford. Your comment, sir?
Well, my comment is, my comment to Mr. Mason was, what did you forget the actual follow-on from the foul? You give the penalty kick, but what about the discipline that followed? And I think Mr. Mason was wrong there. Pickford did a rugby-style challenge on Rondon, brings him down. I don't think it's a sort of malice intent there, but of course, Pickford was lost the ball, lost his bearings.
No malice intent. What? It's a rugby tackle on a football field.
Yeah,
I don't know
okay.
whether that adds up.
So, Peter,
So, Lee Mason's great position, gives the penalty kick, no problem at all, and then I don't know why he didn't send him off. It's just a denial of a goal to an opportunity.
what's going through his mind, Peter? You must have had decisions like that on the pitch you look back on and regret.
Yeah, I mean, look, first of all, penalty kick is a huge decision from a referee. It's a massive decision. You've got to make sure you're spot on when you're giving it. And he's given that decision, and, you know, he's seen that, thought great. No real reaction from players from that point. And I just think that his mind's wandered and he's actually forgotten that there's a second reaction to this, and that's the disciplinary action against Pickford, who, understandably, sort of shrinks away because he thinks he's probably being sent off. So, yeah, I can't defend that one, I'm sorry.
It's just the pro-goalkeeping ways we see from
I don't see anything wrong with this challenge at all, Mr. Pickford.
I tell you what's a scary thought, the fact that Peter just said that Lee Mason's mind might have wandered.
What? He was thinking about the game of golf with Peter.
He was thinking Peter, Tenerife.
Peter, he beat me last week.
Right now? do right now?
I imagine from a coach's point of view, that must be one of the most frustrating things.
Absolutely insane. You're looking for any sort of edge you can get.
Yeah.
And when it's that obvious you don't get it, boy, that's got getting sent off written all over it from the bench.
Newcastle still won, though, didn't they?
Yeah, it's all right.
So that's all right in the world.
Yeah, well, it's all good.
Everything all right.
We've had a blind against Chelsea as well.
All right, Shane, good. A lot more on Extra Time with Peter. Just a reminder, we're back with you tomorrow. We're starting to look ahead to some of those big internationals, and former World Cup winner Frank Leboeuf will be with us to talk international football, plus, of course, what's happened to PSG over the last month. It's time for Shaka's Power Rankings. Go on, Shaq.
This is my best
Tell you
work.
what, you look a lot better there.
Never mind that. This is some special work here.
Right, here we go.
Number 10, Napoli in after closing the gap at the top of Serie A to some 600 points. Istanbul still going strong in Turkey. You know, I've a good love affair with them. PSG are back in after getting embarrassed but they're back in somehow. Manchester United. Even though they
He's not moving.
What do you mean somehow? You're the guy making the decisions.
Are we going to wait till he's finished before we kill him?
I'm trying to work over here. Spurs are in.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah, not very well, I can assure you.
Right, come on down.
Right.
Porto still flying high. Portugal in the Champions League. Juventus are down after they lost to Genoa. Liverpool have leapfrogged them, and then the top two remain unchanged. Manchester City and Lionel Messi.
Right, I've got a question for you here. Was I right in saying that Spurs went up 2 places?
Yeah.
Spurs didn't play at the weekend, right?
They didn't, but Manchester United...
Hold on a second. Excuse me. They didn't play the weekend, and they didn't win the previous game. They got beat, I believe. So how can they move up 2 without stepping on the field?
They were there because of their success in the Champions League, and then Manchester United regressed by losing to Southampton. So if somebody else reverses and you stand still, you end up...
They didn't stand still. They
stood still.
They didn't play.
That's what if you stand still and the other person comes backwards, you end up ahead of them. That's all.
This week,
that is
you
some good work.
picked Manchester City over Barcelona in Champions League, and now you have Barcelona as number 1.
What's that got to do with this?
Goodbye.
Nothing.
Welcome into Extra Time. Peter Walton is with us, but before we get to those questions, let's go to the first question, which I believe will make Steve go, ooh.
Oh, what?
Stevie, would you trade Virgil van Dijk for Steven Gerrard in his prime for the remainder of this season?
Ooh. Make me go, ooh.
Well, you'd have to say that around about this particular time in the season when Liverpool had a chance to win the Premier League, as they do now, Mr. Gerrard made a...
He wasn't in his prime, though. He wasn't in his prime.
When was he in his prime, Shaka? FA Cup final?
2 years before that. Yes. Just ask the question.
You got involved. You got involved. You wanted to talk.
I'm just saying.
What?
When
2005
he slipped, he wasn't in his prime. That wasn't the question.
Do you know what? I'm going to say no. I actually agree with Mr. Alex Ferguson. Defence wins titles.
Wow, there you go. Former Liverpool legend slams.
Another Liverpool legend.
Did he just call it
the reason, by the way, let me clarify. The reason is if you keep a clean sheet,
Yes.
you only need 1 goal. You don't need to score 3, 4 and 5 goals.
No.
You only need 1.
Right.
If you score 3, 4, 5,
So-
you could concede 2, 3 or 4.
Yes. How many do you concede in the FA Cup finals?
2, 3 or 4.
Moving on.
Legend crap.
Ali, what are your thoughts on the rumour that Bayern Munich are interested in signing Gareth Bale?
Sure. I think it works for both. Bayern Munich needs something different. They have to move away from the whole Frank Ribery, Arjen Robben. Now, how long he plays for Bayern Munich is a different question, but I do think there are a couple of years productive for Gareth Bale in front of him, and I do think that change of scenery, he needs it, and he needs it badly.
Surely, Mr. Casual. Mr. I don't need to wear a suit or a shirt.
Oh.
'Cause now I'm doing...
Or a shirt.
Now I'm doing UK TV.
When you said no shit, I got a little bit concerned. A little bit worried for a moment.
When Peter missed a call, did he ever apologise to the player afterwards?
Ooh.
Yes, yeah, I've done that. Yes, I can remember a call at Everton. Everton played Watford when Watford were first promoted into the Premier League, and I gave a penalty kick against Chris Powell, who played as a defender for Watford, and on replay it clearly hits his head and not his arm or his hand. And after the game, I apologised to him. He's never spoken to me since, but I did apologise to him.
It was
Did
a good
Fisher
header
ever
as well.
apologise to you, Stevie? For a bad call? Yeah?
Yeah, MLS. Can't remember.
Is that a
his name.
weekly...
Yeah. Before or after you strangled him?
Well, he was actually running away at the time. He was running away when he said, I'll have a look at it. He actually didn't know he came. I'm trying to remember his name.
Oh, it really made a
Came in.
difference in your life.
The next time we had him was at Gillette Stadium, and he came in before the game and said, by the way, that decision I made such and such a time,
Right.
you were right and I was wrong. And I went, well, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much.
Did you win the game?
Thank you.
Any make-up calls?
Thank you so much.
Make-up calls?
Oh, yeah, they never happen, do they, Peter?
You don't have make-up calls. We've been down this one before.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stevie,
No such thing as a make-up call.
All right. Stevie, another question for you. As Real Madrid come calling, who would you rather lose out? Salah or Mane?
Well, right now, it's obvious, isn't it? It's Salah.
Yeah.
Liverpool
I'm going to stick with that.
You say sell Salah.
I never said that, no.
That's what it sounded like.
Liverpool legend.
One season wonders.
Word and
Salah on the chopping block.
right now. Let's get that clear.
Salah going cheap.
Harry Kane or Antoine Griezmann?
Harry Kane, 100%.
Wow. Stephen?
What he said,
Yeah.
100%.
I
No danger.
concur.
Peter?
Harry Kane.
But that's
All the
not,
time.
That doesn't look like
Oh,
a
you're gonna
100%
You're going to
face.
start crying there.
That wasn't very certain.
That looked like a makeup call to me.
Yeah, yes,
That
he
looked like
did.
a makeup call.
Yes, he did. He looks like he's going to apologize to Antoine Griezmann soon.
I can't believe you're not giving us your opinion.
What do you mean?
Harry Kane or...
Harry Kane.
I only give my opinion occasionally. That's it.
Yeah, hey, don't bother.
Do coaching and tactics matter that much in football? Is it just a matter of players not liking a certain coach after seeing what is happening at Manchester United and Madrid?
Yes, of course they do.
What kind of question is that?
Coaching and tactics are absolutely essential to a team.
Right.
The key is,
Who asked that?
regardless whether your coaching or your
Okay,
tactics are any good, really,
Jack is trying to get in your shot.
Going into Stevie's shop.
Yeah, that worked out well, Shaq. Hey, that beer's coming in very nicely, Shaq.
I'll tell you what, it's full.
So Stevie has given us a very honest answer, a very
Oh,
serious
sorry.
answer.
I was trying to really tweet and my face kept going into Stevie's shop. I can't see that well.
Sorry, Stephen.
half the battle with coaching in particular is, regardless of whether what you're saying is right or wrong, if they believe it's right, then you're golden.
Final question.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah, he's snickering.
I know he is. He's giving it that smart Alec look again.
Yeah.
Let's not give you a smart alley look.
Well, yeah, well, why have you got that silly little thing on your face?
Because I heard that
you've
Peter Walton was pretending to be asleep during the answer.
Don't bring me into the conversation.
He must be listening to his own playback there.
Who's going to win the NCAA men's tournament?
Oh,
I'll answer this. I've got Duke. I did my bracket
I'm not
today.
interested in what you. Not interested in what you.
There you go. I was
I'm
just
going
saying.
You
North
should know by
Carolina.
now.
North Carolina.
Nobody's interested in your opinion.
I was just saying.
All right, just
You're out.
ask the question.
Why go
North Carolina.
Because of number 2?
Huh?
Is number 2 North Carolina?
No, because North Carolina beat Duke twice this year, I think. I'm going to go for North Carolina.
Yeah, but Zion wasn't playing then.
Oh, wait a minute. You can't just. Oh, no. You can't
Fell
just
out
throw
his shoe.
things like
He was
Zion.
playing and fell out his shoe. That's his fault.
Yeah, but he's going to be back.
I've given you my answer.
All right,
Move on.
Just saying.
Hey, you can't just drop Zion just
Oh,
like
apparently
that.
my opinion doesn't matter, so let's not start on that.
Zion.
Zion.
Ali, who you got?
That good.
Duke as well? Yeah.
They're the most talented team.
Peter, who have you got?
Well, I'm going Duke, although I know nothing about it, only because one of my ex-work colleagues went there. So got to be Duke for me.
Duke for you. Stephen?
Yeah, Duke.
Duke as well?
Yeah, my mate's there, John Kerr.
Oh, there you
Charge
are.
of the football team, soccer team, I beg your pardon.
Soccer.
Soccer.
You know we're talking basketball here, right?
Yeah.
right.
My allegiance
Making sure.
is to Duke, though, regardless of what the sport may be. Okay?
That is it.
Your knowledge of Zion is impressive.
ESPN FC back.
Whereabouts is Zion? Whereabouts in the
What are you
country?
talking about?
Where is
It's
it?
a player.
He's in North Carolina. He's in North Carolina right now.
I thought that was a university.
Probably in
Zion
class.
University.
Probably going to class right now.
Never heard of them.
Goodness me.
Frank the Buff is with us tomorrow.
Where is Zion?
Where is Zion, anyway?
Zion University. Zion University going to win the NCAA.
Well, I don't know.
What's their mascot?